watched the SNL 40th anniversary special. So does anybody want to tell me what the fuck Kanye was thinking when he decided he was going to sing like this? I mean, I'm glad to see he's still making music for dudes that threaten to kill their mom for buying the wrong pizza rolls, but he didn't have to claim that he was Jesus with raccoons dancing around him. Well, anyway, I'm searching for new jobs right now, and one of the things that I find really, really hard is actually discerning what a job posting and a job title actually means. So you go on to Craigslist and you're looking for a job, and you see there that they're looking for a sanitation specialist. And you sit there thinking to yourself, okay, maybe this would be good. And then you just find out that it means they're just looking for garbage men. They need to be more specific. And I tell you this because I recently applied to a job and interviewed for a job with a shipping and receiving company. And everything was going fantastic. And I was sitting there during the interview, and everything was fine. They're like, wow, we're really impressed with you. And then the interviewer says this, hey, is there anything else you want to show me before we go ahead to make our decision? So I stand up, I drop trout, and I say, hey, when are we going to do this? I want to show you my skills. Well, I got arrested because apparently head receiver doesn't mean the same thing that I think it means. You know what else has funny names? All those drugs. The pharmaceutical companies come up with the most ridiculous names I've ever heard of in my entire life. And it really seems to me that all the names that they come up with are straight out of a sci-fi movie. Because it's kind of like this. We are the Viagra of the Nexium Consortium from Prevnar 13. So anyway, a lot of people are talking about global warming. And recently we had Groundhog Day, where, you know, we decide to ask a groundhog about the weather for the next 3 months. And that's totally socially acceptable, but when I ask a raccoon about stock futures, I'm considered a freak and a psycho. You know, I argue a lot with people because I'm just that kind of person. So when somebody argues with me about global warming, they claim that it doesn't exist because it's cold outside. And I respond like this. It's very simple. You telling me that global warming doesn't exist because it's cold outside is like claiming there aren't any children, starving children in Africa because you just ate a pizza. Well, anyway, I had this teacher back in 4th grade. Her name was Mrs. Kane. And yes, her name, she looks exactly like her name sounds. If she took the Disney Princess quiz, she would get Quasimodo. And she was a bitch of a woman. And every time I speak with poor grammar, I always hear her voice in my head. I don't know, can you? And you gotta wonder to yourself, when she gets pulled over by a cop, and the cop says to her, ma'am, can I see your license and registration? Does she look up at him and go, I don't know, can you? Well, anyway, I was on Jeopardy recently, and I lost. But it wasn't because I didn't know the answer to the question, or because I didn't do well, or because my opponents were smarter than me. It's because the question that I lost on was this. Tim Burton directed This Dark Tale starring Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter. Well, fuck. What do I write? Anyway, so, you know, 50 Shades of Grey just came out on Valentine's Day. And when I first heard about 50 Shades of Grey, I was convinced that it was about a dog looking at a map of the United States. Then when I found out what it was really about, I was disappointed because I found out it's just about the 10 minutes of porno that you usually fast forward to get through to the good part. Well, anyway, that's all I have for tonight. Thank you very much. You all take